Hey, what's going on people, it's Low Heat, and in this video we're going to be checking out the Arturia Keylab 49 Essential MIDI keyboard. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you're into Ableton Live machine tutorials, beat making videos, product reviews, plugins and all that kind of stuff. And now let's get right into the review. So the keyboard is really compact. Looks really nice actually. I've got the black version, that's what I got my hands onto, but it also comes in white, which I think looks better. It's a 49 key keyboard. It comes in a 61 key version, which is exactly the same. And there's the 88 key version, which has different keys, semi-weighted keys, and these ones are just basic velocity sensitive keys. It has these fake wooden sides, or is it fake? I guess it is, I don't know. It looks nice with the wooden sides, and so very sturdy in terms of build quality. Yeah, actually it's all plastic, but it's very lightweight, very sturdy, and doesn't really flex. So yeah, I like the form factor of this, and it looks really good on my desk. So let's walk you through the features. 8 velocity sensitive pads, a 4-octave velocity sensitive keyboard, DAW control, and controls which can control your DAW as well as the analog lap software, which comes bundled with the keyboard, which is really nice actually. And on the back you've got the MIDI out, the sustain pedal jack, the USB port, and you can also use it with a power adapter. But yeah, the MIDI out inclusion is really nice. Not all keyboards in this budget price range have this. So in terms of software, you get Arturia's analog lap VST instrument, very nice vintage keyboard collection, the obligatory Ableton Live Lite of course, and the UVI Grand Piano Model G. So, first of all, the most important thing, how the controls feel. So these velocity sensitive pads, they're pretty decent for finger drumming actually, I was surprised. But I don't really like pads on keyboards, I just don't feel the need for them. They're usually not that great, and the positioning of the pad is kind of awkward for finger drumming. Puts a bit more strain on your hands because you have to stretch over to reach the pads. They double as clip launching in Ableton Live, so you can launch clips from each pad, and also you can switch between different control modes by holding the map select button. So this first one is for controlling the analog lap, so now we switch to the analog lap control mode. Now we're into DAW control mode, and then you have 6 user modes. With them you can actually program all the controls of the keyboard to do whatever you want them to do using the MIDI control editor by Arturia, available free from their website of course. Now let's get to the most important part, the keys. Well, to be honest, I like this keyboard, but the keys were a bit of a letdown in my opinion. I didn't really like them as much as I expected. All the reviewers said they were fine, and I guess they are fine, but they feel a bit too light for my liking, and at the same time they're kind of spongy. To be honest, there are some other keyboards in this price range that have better keys, so if keys are your priority and the feel of the keys are important to you, I would recommend that you actually try it before you buy it. You may not like these keys, I did not like them. I'm just 100% honest with you. If there's one good thing about them, they're not too noisy. They're not too noisy, and cheap keyboards are usually noisy, so this is the only good thing about the keys. The mod wheels and the pitch bend, they're fine. Just regular mod wheel and pitch bend, nothing spectacular, but they do the job. I have no complaints. The knobs and the sliders. The knobs are decent. The sliders are fine. They're a bit wobbly, but I mean that's to be expected at this price point. So they're decent. I have no complaints about this. They get the job done. So how does the DAW control work? I can only test it in Ableton. I don't have any other DAW that I'm using here. So with Ableton, you've got the stop, the play, the record. You've got the transport controls. To fast forward and rewind, you can activate the loop. You can undo which does work pretty well. You can turn on and off the metronome. That's really cool. That's really cool. And with this encoder, you can again scroll forward and backward in your arrangement, or if you're in the session view, you can scroll between the scenes, which is really nice. With the left and right arrow, you can select different tracks that you have in your session. However, one criticism that I have here is that it doesn't really record enable the track, which makes it kind of useless to me because I have to reach for the mouse to record enable the track. So I don't know, I would have liked to have that. It would have made the workflow much smoother. So these are the endless encoders. They control the panning, and the faders control the volume of your tracks in Ableton. Where this keyboard really shines, in my opinion, is control over its analog lap software. So we switch to analog lap control, and now on the selected track, we're controlling the analog lap plugin. The controls correspond nicely to the controls that you see on the screen, and these are macro knobs. They have mapped the most essential parameters of their synth engines, and you can't really edit the synth engines in detail. Just having the analog lap software, you need to have the full V collection, but most people actually just scroll through presets and just play them, so it's really nice for this. So if you want to scroll through the presets, you can actually choose what kind of sounds you're looking for. You can choose a category. So for example, let's choose pianos. And we just scroll through them. By the way, I forgot to mention about the velocity sensitivity of the keyboard. I'm not sure I like the velocity curve too much, but I'm not a professional piano player. Yeah, I feel the velocity sensitivity could be a bit better, but maybe you can set up different velocity curves in the controller editor of the keyboard. So let's try another sound. So for example, synths. So types. So you can filter by instruments and by types when you're scrolling through the presets. So I really like the sounds of the analog lap software actually. They're really inspiring and you have a bit of everything. In terms of keyboard sounds, there are no acoustic instruments except for the piano, which is again a physical modeling piano. But anyways, it's a decent MIDI keyboard controller, looks nice, very light, very easy to use, decent Ableton control, although it doesn't really work with record enabling the tracks in Ableton. And my biggest criticism of this keyboard are the keys. If you're like whatever about the keys, you don't really have any preference in terms of how they feel, you should buy this keyboard, it's really good. And if you have specific preferences in terms of key action, don't forget to test the keys before buying it, because you may not like them. So I hope this review was useful to you, and see you in the next video.